Hello, hockey fans, and welcome back to the AM Shift Podcast, episode 2. I am Michael McCormack, joined by Aidan Ryan. Aidan, we are about a month and a half into the season, and per our last conversation, not much has changed with our teams, but around the league, there's a lot going on, and I'm ready to get after it.
Yeah, let's do it. Not like you said, not a whole lot's changed, but at least with the Isles. And the Rangers got some new life, I feel like, but
Right?
Isles hockey seems pretty consistent. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay. Isles talk, Aiden, off the bat. They're looking a little bit more consistent the past couple weeks since we last chatted. Some good performances from a couple key players. Let us know what's going on Long Island.
So big road trip right now, 7 game trip. They're, I guess, as we speak in Detroit for the last game of it before they come home.
Hmm.
Big win Dallas last night. Dropped one right before that, but prior to that, 4 games in a row. Uh, like I said it last episode, they're going to be streaky the whole season. And I could see them winning four, losing three, winning three, losing four the whole way. Just how they're going to play. But yeah, it seems like Waz got them clicking nicely. A couple guys stand out to me. Obviously, Horvat, Heineman. The Dobson trade's looking better and better every time Hyman
For
touches
sure.
the puck, let alone the ice. But um, no, I mean Schaefer, obviously another monster game last night. I don't think he got on the score sheet, but I mean, every time he touches the puck, he's electrifying. He just draws players to him and opens up other things. So, um,
Yep.
it's both goalies are playing well. Sorokin maybe a little shaky to start the season, some would say. And I'd probably agree, but he seems to kind of found his game the last 4 or 5 games or so. Really, the road trip. They haven't really been tested on the road a lot lately, or at least to start this season yet. So I feel like a 7 game trip. Well, you want to see your team playing at home. It's more fun when they score, more fun when they win, all that stuff. But a good road
Absolutely.
trip kind of brings them all together and could really set the tone for the season. I feel like that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I think the Sorokin increase, like in quality of his play, has come right after he shut out the Rangers on MSG. Um, that was a demoralizing loss for Rangers, but for the Islanders, I feel like that was a huge win because not only was Sorokin getting back to a good form, it was big for the team because they got to see it's like, hey, our starting goaltender just had a great game. It's something a little more to rally around. And it seems like the Isles have, like you said, with Patrick Waugh and the team in general, they've kind of clicked in areas that they were inconsistent in for the first few weeks of the season. Especially the offensively and defensively. I think that the Isles have shown just an overall better team game in the last 5 or 6, I'd say, and that's perfect for a road trip. I think that's the time where it can make a break your team. Like early in the season, if you go on a road trip and you have how many do they have? How many road trip games? Do you know?
7 total on this trip.
That's an insane
Yeah.
amount. That's an insane amount of road trip games. So, I think that 7 games that could easily break a team's season early. You could go 2-5 or even 3-4. And I think that you'd be chasing those points that you missed out on for all of December. So the fact that they're winning more than they're losing is just a huge testament to how they've been the last couple games.
Yeah, the way I've always looked at road trips for, I mean, every team, but especially the Isles, because it seems like they do fight well on the road. Maybe the results aren't always there, but they always do show up. I don't know if matchups don't really affect them that much, but they've always been a team that kind of rolls 4 lines to get away from that. Um,
Hmm.
and I just you got to be above 500 on your road trips, whether it's
Yeah.
you play three on the road, win two of them, play four, win three of them, like whatever it is you got to do. The 7 game trip, I was like, all right, win four of them, come back 4-3 or 4-2-1, any combination. But already at 5-1 with one more game to go, even if a 5-2 road trip on a 7 game trip this early in the season, I'm so happy with that. But like you said, it starts with Sorokin. The 5-0 win at MSG kind of got him
Yep.
going, got the whole team going. I know it's kind of the cliche in New York is you need something to stir up the locker room, something to get things going for your team. Just
That'll do.
play the Islanders, play the Rangers, whatever it is. But
Yeah,
no, he kind of he rose to the task and he hasn't looked back. He's looked like himself again. Reddick's been great. He played last night in Dallas, got the win. Um, it's starting to feel like they've figured it out and kind of the growing pains out of the half a year under Lambert and half a year under Waugh, then a full year of Waugh, but under
I'd say
Lambert
so.
alone, to
I'd say
now
so.
Waugh just being unleashed.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of just completely opening up the game with a much faster pace of play. And it's nice to see and they're getting rewarded for it now.
And I like being an outside viewer looking in on different teams and seeing how other teams play compared to who I watch more, which is the Rangers. I like seeing which teams or what teams do what better. And I feel like for the Isles, they're playing fast. And I mean, you could look at their roster and I mean, there's some older players on that team for sure. And you are like, they're still a very, very fast team, especially on the back end too. And the fact that they're able to just move up the ice as quick as they do, I think that's just a great sign that age isn't a factor at the moment. And it could be early in the season type things, but I feel that just from an outside perspective, that the Isles are playing a top NHL level game. Granted, they're probably not considered a top team, but the fact that they're competing with teams and winning games against top teams, that's definitely a good showing.
Yeah, I feel like they're the way I look at like the modern NHL now, it's like you hear speed, you hear high pace of play, you think run and gun, but run and gun, there's no structure to it. I feel like they're doing a good job of kind of mixing the two and playing a high pace of play within their structure. And the structure hasn't really changed that much. They're still kind of, I wouldn't say playing a trap game, but more cautious against other teams' breakouts. Maybe a little bit more aggressive now. You can kind of see that F3 kind of creeping in a little bit more, but they're kind of trying to jump plays. It's like what Marty St. Louis said when he was talking about Caulfield and all the young
Oh,
guys when he got the job. He's like, you got to let your players be the players, let them make their reads. If they make mistakes, they make mistakes. It's going to happen.
yeah,
So you may as well just kind of turn the team loose, but teach them within structure. So that way, one guy makes a mistake, you got three more back, you got four more back, whatever it is, wherever the mistake happened.
support.
Exactly. Yeah, but they're quicker through the neutral zone, quicker on pucks, but they're staying D side. They're staying in the play. They're not really backing off like they used to. And like you said, with the veteran presence, they have guys that have been there. They've
Exactly.
maybe still right around half the team was on the team in the bubble year. Then the following year, conference final both times. They know what they have to do and how to do it. It's just kind of implementing speed into that aspect now, out from under that kind of sit back trap game that obviously people say they got that kind of the moniker of being boring for that, but
They were there. They were definitely a boring team when well,
they
they were
yeah,
good, but
they
I
were
mean,
good. Yeah,
they
I
were
was loving it. I don't think anyone outside the Islander fan base would say the same thing, but I was loving it.
I was like,
But no,
I'll
I
tune
think
into an
it's
Isles game now, but I was not tuning into one 3, 4 years ago.
yeah, I think you only watched them because I had them on.
Yeah, exactly. I was not
But
voluntarily watching an Islanders game. I'd fall asleep.
no,
Yeah,
it's definitely a new kind of brand of hockey with kind of
refreshing.
familiar faces, familiar structure, but definitely just kind of up in the tempo, kind of adapting, modernizing.
Would you consider it like old dog learns new tricks a little bit?
For some of the roster, I mean, you get guys like Heineman, Drouin, Schaefer, obviously, first year in the league. He didn't even play under that system. I don't think he would know how to play under that system with how fast he can kind of get around the ice.
Yeah,
It's, I'd say guys like maybe Ryan Pollock, Adam Pellick, Scott Mayfield, kind of the D core with the exception of Romanov that have been there the whole time. Um,
you made a
Obviously, you
great
got to see,
transition there.
yeah, you got to see kind of what's going on with him. I know that they just put him on the IR today. I saw that announcement.
Ooh, I didn't know
Um,
that. Ooh.
yeah, so we'll see. They called up Marshall Warren, who looked good. He had a
Oh,
two
that's an
point game in
interesting
Philly
call.
in his first game. I think he followed it up with an assist in his second game. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, they called him up again. kind of speed off the back end. He's a more, I guess, kind of
Heavy.
steady option on the back end, but he can still get up the ice quick.
Okay.
Same Long Island kid too from Laurel Hollow.
Count it.
Um, yeah, exactly. Him and Paul Murray. But no, I mean, it's a good mix of veterans kind of teaching the young guys. You got the Pollock, Pellick, Mayfield kind of leading the way for Warren, Romanov when he's healthy. Schaefer, Boquist even. I mean, Boquist has been around. He knows kind of what to do. He's been on a couple different teams. And he's fit in nicely. Tony D'Angelo, another veteran presence, but
Oh, yeah.
it's a good mix. There's not really anyone in that kind of like middle ground age right now. It's kind of either guys coming in playing that flashier style and then the steady guys. And I feel like Waz using them nicely where he's pairing. You see Mayfield, Schaefer, Tony D, Schaefer, Pelican Pollock. You're not really going to separate them with what they're able to do, but you've seen Ryan Pollock take shifts with Schaefer. So he's doing a good job of plugging in that new era of game, but keeping it stable with kind of those, I guess, stabilizing forces, to use the same word twice. But um, no,
It all makes great sense. Um, but you mentioned Romanov, and I know we're going to talk about this hit from Rantanen, but I kind of want to just start off saying the discourse around the hit has been pretty consensus, which is usually not the case with plays like this. And most times you have, like, of course, some Stars fans are going to defend, or you're going to get people that, say, oh, this, that, and the other thing. But I got to be honest, I really haven't seen a talking head in media or whoever be like, this
Yeah,
is fine. Like, pretty much everybody's like, dude, you pushed them in the
it was
numbers.
bad. Yeah,
It's like, dude, what are you doing?
like I
So,
get it. You're trying to tie the game late. And there's what maybe 30 seconds left, just under that.
yeah,
And sure, my brother actually made the point when he was talking about it earlier. He said Riddick kind of put the puck in a bad spot, which is true. They kind of want to see that more in the corner, or just rim it, see what happens.
fair.
Mayfield played a little physical on Ranton. They kind of clipped skates or like a stick or something, and but he was off balance going in. But then you look at the replay and like
It's a push.
full extension with the hands, like
Yeah,
right into the back, knocks him down.
yeah,
He was concerned immediately. I know a couple Isles reporters were saying that Rantanen reached out to Romanov,
that's good.
just checking in on him, saying like basically, I don't know if he actually apologized, but I'm assuming he did. He's never really been a dirty player.
No.
Obviously, intensity gets up there, but he doesn't seem like that kind of
It
guy.
it's emotions. I mean,
Exactly.
you could point this type of play out at any point of the season. You can put it at any point of the season, and people are probably for the most part going to say the same thing. But the fact that it's Rantanen as opposed to, I don't know, throw a fourth liner's name out there
Yeah.
like a Michael McCarron on Nashville, just for example, like people would be like, oh, McCarron's like, dirty, dirty or whatever. Like pretty much everyone knows that like, look, Rantanen may be built like, a brick shit house, but he's not known for pushing guys headfirst into the dasher, or hitting guys from behind. It's just one of those moments where emotions get high, and and I hope that most plays that like this that are going to happen, kind of get viewed in the same light. We kind of have to take like the player away from the play sometimes. And I think that this is one of those examples where it's like, yeah, it's bad, but I don't really think he meant to, do that to Romanov in the
Yeah, no,
moment.
it was not intentional at all. Obviously, like
It's like,
he's
but
like I
you
said, he's
did
not
it.
that player. But
That's the,
exactly, like it happens.
yeah.
So, um, I love the response from the Islanders on that. They
Yes.
just instantly jumped on him. Mayfield was all over him instantly. Even Barzal even got in there. Um, and then going
Nice.
back to the bench, Rantanen's got his helmet off, going down the tunnel, and Hot Mike picked up Patrick Waugh, just
Yeah.
giving it to him. He was screaming at assistant coaches, screaming at the Stars bench. He had to be talking directly to Rantanen. He's like, "You're not finishing the next game we play you. I
That's
do this."
crazy. That's
So
crazy.
I don't know if he like has a hit out on Rantanen for that game or whatever it is, but that's going to be. I mean,
Yeah.
by that time, I think the game's not until like the spring, so it's going to be kind of down the road. We'll see what happens. You got to imagine
They'll
a guy like
remember. they'll remember.
We'll see what they do at the deadline and who they bring in. I'd like them to bring in a little more toughness, so maybe that guy coming in will deal with it. But as of now, I could see like Anders Lee just
See, like
opening face off,
Pajot,
drop the gloves with him. Pajot, yeah, a
yeah,
major size disadvantage there, but we'll see.
still.
Mayfield's got the size. Um,
Yeah,
but no, yeah,
it's gonna be
it's
weird. What will happen at that point? Because I mean, like you don't expect Rantanen to really be the guy to end up dropping the gloves. You are gonna
oh,
one,
not at all.
he'll be targeted for sure. He'll be hit like extra hard that game, absolutely. But I like like you said, they're gonna
If
need
there's going
to
to be a
add
fight, it's
somebody.
going to be somebody else on the team stepping in for him.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
let's get this out of, and it's going to be like early in the game too. Like Ranton will be hit the entire game, but I don't imagine that like it'll carry over for the full 60 minutes. I think at some point they're just going to be like, look, this is a hockey
it'll be
game.
a heavy hitting first period, and then they'll be like, all right, 40 minutes to
Yeah,
go.
depending on where
Let's
the
lock in.
teams are at the end of at that point
Exactly.
of the season, no one's really going to be like, all right, like we're 2 points out of the wild card, whatever. Like let's just focus on winning this game right now. I don't think, they're going to take too many bad chances on
Yeah,
some things there. But hey, I mean, nevertheless, I mean, what a the first real controversial moment of the season, I would say.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's up there.
if you want to say that, but you knew it was inevitable. Something like this was going to happen,
Yeah,
uh, and you probably saw it, definitely saw it live, and it's unfortunate.
yeah. You even heard on the Stars broadcast too. You got
Oh yeah.
both of them. The instant reaction that I think he just made a sound, and you were like, oh, that's
Oh,
bad.
Yeah, Daryl Ray, the color
Yeah,
guy.
he just
He's the man.
instantly and yeah,
He was like, "Oh,
yeah. No,
oh
it was
yeah."
not good, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, we just hope he's okay. Hope for a speedy recovery. He gets back in because he's been playing some good hockey. He struggled out of the gate, but he started kind of finding his game, and then this happens. So we'll see. I don't know
Uh,
how long he's going to be out, but yeah,
Speaking of lunatic activities, I guess, or emotional activities, one of our favorite all-time hockey moments is when David Riddick was the goaltender in Calgary and he gets pulled for being terrible as he was in his past, and um he is exiting the ice and walking into the locker room, and he literally headbutts the wall as he's making a turn. And we just love referencing that every now and again when we see David Reddick, because I mean, what an insane who just like does that as a whatever. But you wanted to kind of shout him out that he had a similar type moment.
yeah, he got into it. I thought we were going to see that again for a little bit, but because Dallas did tie the game with, I think it was Wyatt Johnston with like a tenth of a second left,
Mhm.
puck in front. I forget who it was that went flying through the crease, but they kind of clipped Riddick's foot and he spun him
Ooh.
out. They scored. There was an argument against Ryan Pulak was in the area. Stars fans felt that Pulak kind of helped. I think it was Robertson got in there. He kind of pushed him into the crease, but it was pretty clear cut goal interference in my opinion.
Mhm.
All bias aside, but no, yeah, Riddick instantly fired up, kind of chased the refs out to the neutral zone, almost made it to center ice. Um, just yelling at them, giving it to him. Call comes back and he goes back out. He starts as the final buzzer goes. He's giving it to the Stars bench. He's just yelling, losing his mind. And I love to see that from him. He's been playing great. He's playing with
Right, he's been
emotion.
good.
And yeah, it's honestly kind of an inspirational part of the team. They're going to show up and you know your goalie's going to fight. So you got to fight for him.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. I feel like
Exactly.
if your goalie's playing like that, kind of got to help him out a little bit, especially if he's
Yeah.
that fired up too. I mean, your own coach is a former goaltender, so I think
Yeah, for sure.
these goalies are crazy. Goalies are crazy.
Right.
Yes,
But with that, let's go over to this other New York team that
yeah,
that we follow.
that one. Well, we did have an eventful moment as a team the other night, but yeah, I mean, I guess we'll start off just kind of what I was saying to you before we started is that it's been more of the same, better in some parts, worse in others, and a little bit of the same. It's there's no it's been fluctuating back and forth, whether it's good offense or good defense, or vice versa. So in general, haven't been too different since the last time we recorded, and I think last night was another prime example of just kind of how their season's been. A almost comeback error and a almost win, I guess you could say, at times against Vegas. But I mean, this team is still full of question marks and inconsistencies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I guess you mentioned kind of starting to turn things around maybe a little bit, and
a bit.
I I would attribute that to obviously Vinny Trocheck is back in the lineup, which is huge.
True.
Um, Kind of one of the guys that just brings intangibles, and on top of that is just, I mean, borders on all-star every year. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Team All-Star,
he's
especially too, every
exactly,
year.
yeah, no, he's in the conversation for probably the most effective Ranger every season.
Yeah.
Um, and the other one, yeah, Bald Panarin back.
Yeah, he has 12 points in 7 games since he shaved his head. I mean, whatever it takes for your highest paid player to turn his season around, by all means, experiment. And we know from a couple of years ago when he did that, he had his career year and nearly 50 goals. So the fact that he's already changed his point per game pace right around has been crazy. But like you said on Trocheck, I mean, those guys go hand in hand with each other. If Trocheck's out, that means Panarin doesn't have his familiar center, and then he's got to adjust to playing with most likely 2 new line mates. It's never the same on wing with him. I feel like while Trocheck, Laff, and Panarin are a line, when Trocheck's out, they don't put Panarin and Lafreniere together too often. They kind of throw them up with like Mika and maybe somebody else. They seem to always just change things around a little too much. But the fact that Trocheck's back and Panarin's playing good is a huge testament to why they've scored a little bit more and have just been better, I guess, even though it's still been a struggle.
It just seems like there's more energy now, kind of around them, and
Yeah.
maybe the results aren't quite there yet, but it does seem like they're playing a little bit more kind of inspired hockey just because of them. And the other thing, mentioned it a little bit before we hopped on here. You were talking about a couple rookies in the lineup now that you've got your eye on and kind of expecting a little
Yeah.
bit of excitement from.
Yeah. So, I mean, brief, but Gabe Perreault was up. I think what most Ranger fans would agree with me in saying that he definitely wasn't bad by any stretch. Could he have and should he have played more? Probably, but the moments in games where it was tight and you could tell he was getting a little bit outworked, or however you want to say it, he was demoted off of the first line. So at least they gave him the chance to play on the first line with Miller and Mika. So like that was a good sign. And yeah, of course, I mean, he had an apple against Nashville on the power play, not bad, but also you definitely could tell that he was definitely a rookie in some of those games, and they demoted him down to the third line. I mean, but he still played. It's not like he didn't touch the ice after
Mhm.
that. He just that Columbus game where they won in a shootout was a very tight game. Even the one in Tampa, we that game was a little hectic in the first period, and in the second they switched him back to that third line, and then they just end up exploding for offense and winning that game pretty convincingly. So I wouldn't say he's been bad or he was bad when he was up, but there's definitely some room for growth there. I just wish he got a few more games. I felt like it couldn't have hurt to see a little bit more. So I don't know what you saw from him.
Yeah, no, it was good. I wouldn't really say anything stood out,
Yeah.
good or bad, which I guess from a young guy, that's kind of all you could ask for. Just don't make a negative impact. Like you said,
Right.
he's got the groundwork to be a great player. It's just development. That's kind of where he's at in my eyes.
Of course.
But you know, it'll be he's going to be someone that kind of is a staple on the roster going forward.
Yeah, once he kind of like grows into his frame and gets it's his skating really that kind of doesn't help. He's definitely I don't know if he would remind me of John Tavares, but it's similar. They play similarly, or maybe they skate similarly to me. I don't know. I just see there's a comparison there where they're not overly great skaters, but they make some great plays. And I think as long as he can just get a little faster and tweak a little bit better, you could see him become just a more impactful NHL player. But for the other rookies that we're playing, Scott Morrow, he's up with the team right now. He plays, I definitely see the offense from him. I wouldn't consider it's too different from Perot. They don't play in some moments and they kind of get shelled or sh what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of get like demoted, I guess, to the bottom pairing, but really both guys haven't shown moments where it's like they do not belong here. But they're, like you said, they're both on the path to on development, and I think you just need to take it low and slow, and take it easy, and we'll see
Yeah,
where it goes.
exactly.
Let's take it
Yeah.
easy.
One other thing that stands out to me about the Rangers, especially he didn't play last night. I don't think. I think it was Shesterkin. Um,
Yeah, with Shesty.
the Detroit game he played, Jonathan Quick,
Oh,
kind of
dude.
the effect he has on the team, where he might not be getting the wins, but
Oh
those
man.
games are close and they're visually not close games. Shot counters are insane. I think Detroit at one point was out shooting them by like almost triple, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was somewhere
Um,
around that.
Beautiful jersey matchup too. That game that was
Mm,
unbelievable to watch.
chef kiss.
But and then the line brawl at the end of the game, amazing. Not line brawl, it was bench clearing brawl. But
I don't know if you saw it, but there's a Twitter post where it was like artwork piece from like 1840 and it had some like title and
yeah,
some
just the
artist,
two
but it was
centennial jerseys.
yeah, and like under it was the actual artwork piece. Yeah, I thought that was really funny. I mean, well, there we go. That's kind of the other crazy moment that happened between our teams, or for our teams. Jonathan Quick, first off. I don't know how he managed to change the fans' opinions on him after what he did to us in 2014 and like how he broke
Well, he
my
grew up a
heart.
Ranger fan, didn't he?
Yeah, he grew up in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And dude, he broke probably every Ranger fan's heart that is still alive today a decade ago. And the fact that he's able to come here and win everybody over in the matter of like, 2 seasons that he's been here, 2.5, like, dude, this guy, 40 years old, plays like a starting goaltender, and he not only stands up for his team and the empty net at the end of the game, but he's just a fierce competitor that I absolutely love to watch. I love watching him.
Yeah, you kind of see it too, and then anyone gets near his crease. I noticed it watching that Detroit game.
Yeah,
He's
man.
poking their ankles. He's giving them. He's talking trash from the crease.
I
I
love
love
it.
to see that from a goalie. I loved him in LA. I mean, I don't love that he's a Ranger because he's good, but like,
Still good.
I love watching him play. Yeah, he's amazing. He's fun to watch,
Yep. It's
and he was kind of.
splits.
He's out of his mind. I don't know how he's so consistent his entire career, but
Yeah.
he's been a guy that, to be honest, outside, I don't know if you share the same opinion, but outside looking in, I think there's a case to start him over Shesterkin going forward for at least the time being.
I mean, I think they can. I think it's been like that the last 2 seasons with him. Like his first season he was here, he was like 10-0 to start. And he was outrageously good. And last season, I mean, the team was terrible, so granted, whatever. But this season, he's shown that he can play like a more difficult matchup. Like, look, if you want to if you're on a back-to-back, right, and you're going and playing some top 10 team in the league, And you want to play Shesterkin, like fair enough, but he just played like three of the last four. Like maybe start this guy and then give
Yeah,
try to
make it
give
a quick.
Shesty an easier workload the next day. I mean, this guy can handle some really difficult teams. I don't know if I agree with your opinion that I guess what you're trying to say is they can start him in some matchups over
I'm
Igor.
not saying that they
Right,
should or they would. I'm just saying like there's an argument to be made. Like
right.
there's somewhat valid points
Yes.
that could support maybe starting him going forward for a little bit.
Fair. Because I was
Yeah.
like gonna say like any Ranger fan hearing you right now would be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
They
Like
would
we're
instantly
not.
know I'm an Islander fan
Yeah, they'd be
if they
like,
heard me
"No."
say that.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, but I agree with essentially what you're saying, which is like they can trust him to play these
Yeah.
these bigger matchups than rather than just playing him every fourth or fifth game.
Yeah. Like
Like you
there's
can
some
ride
teams
him.
across the league where I feel like the fan base sees the backup go in and they're like, oh boy, like here we go. Like lock it down defensively. With
Yeah.
the Rangers, like nothing really changes with how they play. It's you get Shesterkin, you get Quick. They're both going to play well.
Yeah.
I just feel like Quick is kind of the guy right now
Make make 30 plus saves and just do the best you
and
can in
lose two
front
to
of him.
one because the team
Uh,
can't score. Yeah,
well, yeah, I mean that's the theme now. We used to just score all the goals and then hold on like, the sinking ship in the third period, which I would prefer that compared to the dread of not scoring at all.
yeah.
But that brawl at the end, essentially what we were talking about is just another one of those moments where like these hockey moments just get out of hand so quick. And the fact that you see guys defending their teammates and defending the team itself is kind of the reason why we love watching this sport.
I
So
was sitting there watching it, and I got to credit to my girlfriend on this one. She said, "Is this the Truba helmet throw moment of the
right.
season?"
Yeah. And Arthur Staple had a really good tweet the morning after that game. And essentially what it said was like someone had to respond, which is kind of what I was saying the night before watching it. I was like, how I was thinking to myself before that all transpired, I was like, how did nobody do anything? Like I know Panarin's defending Appleton like a dog not to score, but he still like shot it in after the buzzer. Like, do something about that. I was thinking about like Ridley Gregg taking a slap shot into the empty net. I was like,
Yeah,
if that's getting a response, like,
and that counted.
dude. Yeah, like even when there's a delayed penalty and you shoot it into like an empty net, like guys are gonna do something to you. I was like, how did nobody do anything? And then Jonathan Quick reminded everybody, like, hell no.
Oh yeah, here we are.
Yeah, and it was like, let's go. It just fires me up too. I'm like, this freaking guy. I was like, continue being you, buddy. Everybody's got you.
Yes. Both
Yes.
our team's backups kind of had a moment where the team can rally around them.
I love it.
That's what
I
it
love it.
takes.
I know it takes a backup goaltender to rally a team. Who would have
Yeah,
thought?
why not?
Uh, yeah, I mean, and the last note on the Rangers, the Winter Classic jerseys came out today.
Yeah,
Uh,
great job with them.
yeah, people were like, I'm unmoved or I'm uninspired. Dude, I think Rangers just doing the opposite of what they did for Centennial is perfect. It works. And for what Florida did, I really like them. I love the pants. Ooh,
Hmm.
I think it works. It works. It's fine.
Yeah, it's they nailed it. I didn't really know kind of what direction they were. I mean, the Rangers kind of knew they were going to do something Centennial based.
Hmm.
Um, Florida being a newer franchise, obviously they don't have that history, but I thought maybe they'd incorporate the cups they just won. I didn't really know what direction they would go. Kind of had an idea with the Rangers, but I think both teams absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, I would have liked if I could make one critique, I would have liked the Rangers to use more of an off-white, like a creamier type of deeper white than
Hmm.
just kind of a blank one. I think that would have been a little bit more towards like the heritage centennial side of it, but I
They had
still
something like
can't
that
complain.
in They played
2012,
Philly, right?
2012, yeah.
Yeah,
Like that color on those jerseys. I
those
don't,
jerseys were great.
right. Everybody loves those. Like, so I think anybody was just hoping they could get a version of that jersey back. So I guess I would say I'm a little disappointed it couldn't have been that. But I mean, in the grand scheme, I mean, you can't really go wrong with most
Yeah,
jerseys that the Rangers make.
yeah.
So, alrighty, Aiden, that'll be the first stop of our pod. And when we come back, we will discuss some Olympic roster projections and some players that could be making a name for
Let's do it.
themselves and make the team themselves.
I got one I'm so ready to talk about.
We'll be right back on the AM shift. Alrighty, and we're back on the AM shift. It's time to get into the Olympic rosters. Let's start off with Hockey Canada. And I think we all know most of the names that will probably be on this team. However, there are a couple young guns that are not only definitely probably going to make this team, but they are lighting up the NHL right now, particularly Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini. Aiden, let me know how these two guys are doing.
It's, I mean, the two of them are out of their minds. You hear people talking OV versus Sid again with the
Yeah,
rivalry coming up. Like, it obviously not really much of a rivalry, it's San Jose and
it's
Chicago,
there
but
though. It's there.
it is. Yeah, the fan bases, that's where it comes from. It's which one's better? My guy's better. My guy's better. But no, I hope they both make it. I don't know kind of what structure they're going. It seems like their rosters previous years have been kind of built to try to beat the US rather than like win the tournament,
Yeah.
which the US kind of got away from that and they've seen success with it on the kind of World Junior stage and now kind of moving into the NHL. But um no, I hope they both make it. I'm all for the young guys playing. Celebrini, honestly, at this point, I think is a lock. He's just been
Oh yeah.
automatic this season. Bedard, depending where they're going to fit him into the lineup, he's probably going to have to play a different role, which is going to be interesting. That's the only thing I could see maybe keeping them off the roster is their roles are going to be a lot different on that roster. Um, they're not going to be top line guys. They'll maybe be third line guys. Um,
Yep.
but I really do hope they make it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Bedard, you'll probably see him on the power play if he does make the team.
Right. I mean, like you're looking at this roster. I mean, like, you have your Crosbys, your McDavids and McKinnons, but then like what's it's like where's your depth on this team? It's like, do you
Yeah,
want your depth to be
where's
Anthony
your grit?
Cirelli? Yeah, where's your grit? It's like, do you want it to be Sam Bennett or Tom Wilson? Like, is that what you're trying to build here? Or are you trying to bring in like a Nick Suzuki, who's probably gonna make it too? Do you still want like Brandon Hagel on the team? Do you bring in a Mark Scheifele now? I mean, you say like these guys need to maybe play a different role. I think that you're right, but most of these guys already play like those top penalty killing roles too, right?
Yeah,
So it's like, how do you build your team around that? Do you just like have those guys play in all situations, and then you kind of have like a fun third line, like a Bedard Celebrini that kind of just does whatever? So
I
that's
would
kind of
say
interesting.
the guy that stands out to me and he's kind of making his case this year. I'm gonna sound biased saying it, but he's a guy that plays every role. He kills penalties.
I know who you're
He's
saying.
Bo Horvat. Like
Yep. No, I think he should absolutely be considered
if they're
100%.
looking for kind of that depth role, he's not going to be one of the stars on that team. He's gonna maybe be a third or fourth liner on that roster, but he's gonna kill penalties. It's something he does very well with the Islanders.
Yeah.
He's
His face-offs too.
maybe a net front guy, maybe play the bumper on the power play with his hand eye and the amount of tipping goals we see him getting every season, the amount of goals he scores from that bumper spot on the Islanders power play. Obviously, I wouldn't expect him on the power play. If anything, maybe PP2. I don't think he wouldn't be that top unit, but
He's your top penalty killer, probably.
he's a guy he's gonna eat minutes in like the critical parts of the games where you're not necessarily looking to score, but you're looking to kind of contain, you're looking to manage the game. He's going to be that role for them. I hope he makes the team. He's unbelievable leader, unbelievable teammate. Wherever he goes, people love him. But it just depends kind of what kind of depth they're trying to build in their bottom six.
Yeah, he particularly Bo Horvat, I can see him being like one of those guys that at the end of the tournament, people are like, oh, this guy played, you know, a pivotal role. Like this
Hmm.
player was doing everything. Like, you know how everybody was saying about, I mean, granted, these guys were like defensemen, but like Jacob Slavin, like everybody knew how good he
Yeah,
was
with the Four Nations, yeah.
right at Four Nations. And then, like, after the tournament, everybody was like, this guy is a wizard. And everybody watching could even tell, too, how good he was defensively. I feel like Bo Horvat would be one of those players where at the end of the tournament, at the end of the Olympics, people would be like, this guy was like, if they went on to win gold, hopefully not. But if they went on to win gold, they'd be like, that's a guy who really helped this team capture that.
Yeah, the other guy that stands out to me too, that they brought him to the Four Nations. He didn't play much. And when he was in the lineup, they didn't really use him too much. Travis Konechny, um,
Mhm.
another great guy, another penalty killer. Like maybe they work together on the kill. They work together in a depth role for that team.
Yeah, even it's a
Maybe
switch
pair
out,
them
maybe.
with a Bedard or a Celebrini. Granted, Konechny, I think he's a winger if I'm not
Yeah, he's a
mistaken.
winger.
But I mean,
Guys will play anywhere.
all
They'll
these
play.
international teams are going to have
There's like
of
10 centers
the
on
four
on
lines,
Canada.
exactly like three and a half lines worth of centers. That's insane. But
Yeah.
it's it goes back to kind of what roles they want to fill with what kinds of players. And I think Horvat's making a case for himself. Celebrini and Bedard both making a great case for themselves. I see them both making the team if they're looking for goals. Um, just depends. I don't see them as fourth line players. They're going to get out there a little more. They're players, the young guys especially, I feel like they have to be engaged in the game a little bit more. They're not really meant to sit.
Hmm.
Um, it, it just depends what kind of roster they're going for. If they're going for that heavy roster, you bring heavy hitters. If you're going for kind of that speed, that pace, you bring more Celebrinis, more Bedards, kind of the younger talent. But yeah, no, it just depends kind of where their mind's at.
Yeah, I think that in general, you really can't go wrong with, I mean, I guess you can if you lose, but without hindsight 2020, you can't go wrong with a lot of the names that you see on these projections. I mean, a guy like
Yeah,
Seth Jarvis is somebody who will probably make this team. I mean, he's been on fire to start, and I don't know if Rod Brindamore is part of the coaching staff. He might be, or I don't know, but that's like a guy. I know John Cooper is going to try and bring as many Lightning players as possible, but I think given the Lightning start. And I mean, I don't really think Travis Konechny's gonna make this team. That's just kind of my opinion. I think you can bring in a guy like Sam Bennett for sure. But I think you bring in a guy, I'm like right with you with Bo Horvat. Like I think that is like a player you bring, especially the fact that he's been so good this year. You can't really go wrong with taking him. And then a guy like Seth Jarvis, who was in the team, but is playing out of his mind too. So I think that's kind of how you're going to have to construct your bottom six is you're going to have to still have that grit, but also rework it in a way that can play probably, which is way better teams now than they were at like Four Nations. Like I think Finland's gonna like without Barkov, but like Sweden's gonna look a lot better. Um, and just you never know how these other countries do. These a team like imagine a team like Germany or even like these Switzerland teams, they just put in a real good effort and they can get close. These guys, you never know what happens in these tournaments.
yeah.
And I think those are
It's about
guys that,
consistency.
yeah, you're right.
That's what the
Absolutely.
roster's got to be built on is consistency. You're not looking to kind of play an entire season. You're looking for maybe like a round and a half's worth of playoff hockey
Yeah.
out of these guys. And if you get guys up and down the roster that play consistently for that week and a half, whatever, however long it is, you're going to get the results you want.
Yeah. You're right. Well, let's look at where the country of where we're from, the United States. I mean, let's kind of dissect this team a little bit because we know there's going to be a lot of names that aren't going to come back, and there's probably names that definitely are. I would love to see a guy like Matthew Nyes make this team. I think for how weird the Toronto Maple Leafs have been and weirdly bad they've been, that's he's just kind of one of those guys who plays like a man's man game and he gets into a lot of the thicker areas than a lot of these other guys do. Like, look, Matthew Tkachuk is coming back in however much time. If you're probably going to bring both Tkachuk brothers, but say Matthew's
You
not
have to
really
have
right,
to bring them both. Yeah,
right. But like if Matthew's playing ugh, like, he's not been good because he just hasn't had enough time to get his game back. I mean, I think a guy like Matt Nyes is a good substitute for a player like that, and maybe a little bit more disciplined too than a Matthew Tkachuk is. But let me hear your thoughts on what you think this team should look like.
yeah. I think the roster is going to depend a lot on the health of the Kachucks. Obviously,
Yeah.
both injured. Brady's not back yet, right? I don't know.
No, I don't think I
Yeah,
think he's going to be longer. I think Matthew's close though.
yeah. So it depends. I feel like their forward group kind of revolves around them and guys like JT Miller. Um, it's these high scoring, kind of explosive players that aren't afraid to go in the corners, are not afraid to throw their bodies around, not afraid to fight. Clearly, we saw at the Four Nations, but
Yep.
um, that's kind of how it is. And back end's going to start with Slavin. You're going to
Yep.
bring, if he's healthy, you're going to bring Charlie McAvoy. Um, and those are kind of the two staples, I would say, on the back end. Zach Werenski, see him there. Jake Sanderson. Um, their their back end's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good mix of speed and talent, and but those steady kind of lock it down guys like Slavin. Um, McAvoy before he got hurt at Four Nations was a monster playing
Oh,
top minutes against the top pairs or top forward groups, and
yeah.
he didn't only hold his own. He kind of dictated the game when he was on the ice, along with Slavin. But no, I'm excited for this Team USA team. They're going to be kind of a good mix. The argument is, do you bring guys that didn't go to Four Nations? Do you bring Tage Thompson, which a
Clayton
guy like him
Keller.
at the Olympics, you have to. Clayton Keller, I
I
think
think you
he's
got to
there.
bring a guy like Clayton
Cole
Keller.
Caulfield, I think he's a
You
guy to
got to
take his
bring
team away.
him
He's
too.
playing unbelievable this season.
Yeah, I mean, I love Chris Kreider, and I think he's one of like the most just pure goal scoring players like in hockey history. Just guys tipping in everything and just gets rebounds on like everywhere. But even though he's been kind of good to start the season, like very good to start the season, do you bring him? Probably not. Probably not. You bring a guy
The
like
other
Clayton
thing,
Keller.
the other thing to consider too, it's not the NHL rule set. It's IHF.
Yep, it's a little
It's kind
softer.
of more, yeah. So you're not looking for that heavy hitting. I mean, obviously you
I mean,
are.
that's
You're
a
looking for
fair
that
point.
physicality, but it's gonna change. Like you're gonna see more skill play. So that's why I think the
Yeah, you're
Four
right.
Nations roster wouldn't really work in this setting,
Yeah,
where now you're gonna get the not the. It's kind of unfair to call them softer because I mean they're still hockey players at the highest level. You're gonna get Caulfield. You're gonna get Thompson. You're gonna get the guys that don't traditionally hit, but they're more shooters. They're more kind of the skill guys. I think they're gonna kind of really kind of showcase what they're capable of on an international level. And those are going to be the guys that are going to be the difference makers. But I mean, obviously, the Kachuk brothers are the Kachuk brothers. They can score, they can hit, they can do whatever they want. If they're healthy, I think Team USA is, I mean, it always seems like it's a 50-50 in terms of the favorite between them and Canada. I hope
yeah.
they play each other. I hope it lines up that way. Um, but like you said, with teams like Germany, you get Stutzla, Mo Sider,
Mo Sider, yeah,
like man,
Drysdale. Like,
Draisaitl obviously
jeez.
leading the charge. But
Right?
it's these skill guys. I mean, see, the Stutzla too is kind of known around the league as maybe he's a little bit on the softer side, but he's a guy that will score 100 points. Like those
He's
kind
gonna
of
get you
guys are
it.
gonna those kind of guys are gonna carry teams and get wins in this tournament. It's like it's the different rule set is going to affect it.
No, I think that's like a great point you make. I didn't even like think of that. And then I'll play like devil's advocate. Like while I agree with you, would you think that maybe taking a heavier roster could and bend the rules a little bit when you're there and kind of not, I'm not saying go undisciplined, but maybe play the game a little harder than IHF hockey is.
You
Um,
could, I
you
mean,
know, but it's
the
tough,
only
man.
thing
They
is
give
any
everything
any sort of
penalties.
IAHF tournament I've ever seen, um, I don't want to say the refs kind of get involved more, but they naturally are more involved because that's just what the rule book is. Like it's
Yep.
not that the ref is inserting himself in the game, it's that it's just what the game calls for based on the rules.
Yeah.
So I think that would be kind of a high risk, high reward thing where if they let the teams play, like a US playing Team Canada, it's going to be violent. No matter what rule
Oh
set they
yeah.
throw at them, guys are going to take penalties because they're it's US Canada. Um, but say you get a team like Germany, or you get some of these other teams coming in, and they go up against one of the heavyweights, you could see a lot of power plays in those kind of other countries' favor, just because the U.S. and Canada they're running around hitting guys in that heavy game mindset, and that
And it
IHF
bites you.
rulebook could get thrown at them. So it's going to be interesting. I'm kind of waiting to see how the first kind of wave of players gets structured in. You can kind of base it on that, but yeah, guys that play that heavy hitting game might have to adapt it a little bit, where guys that play that high scoring, high flying game, where they kind of don't shy away from the physicality, but it's not their game. Um, those guys, I think, are going to be the difference makers this tournament.
Yeah, I mean you're right on all that because like you said, I mean this rule book can really just change it and they'll call penalties late in the game. They don't give a flying fork about what's going on. Like they'll be like 2 minutes for roughing and it's like 3 minutes left in the game, and you're like,
Yeah,
really? So they definitely referee the game, or officiate the game rather, different than the NHL. So it is going to be interesting. I think it's a month and a half until they release the roster. I think it's around Christmas, New Year's week, around there where the rosters get released. But I mean, look, there's injuries, there's going to be slumps from
yeah,
some of these guys, and it's going to hurt chances, and it's going to give guys better chances somewhere else. So it really is a crapshoot for like the bottom, I guess, quotes, bottom four players of each team, or at least for
yeah.
Canada and
And
USA.
with Team USA, I don't think, as much as it pains me, and I'd love to see him play again, I don't think a guy like Brock Nelson makes the team.
Yes, that's like
Um,
kind of how I'm feeling with Chris Kreider. Like
he's
they've
a
been
guy
good,
that
but
you could like around Four Nations. People are like, why is Nelson on the team? Why is Kreider on the team? Where's Thompson? Where's Caulfield? I think that's getting flipped this tournament.
yes, yeah.
But and it sucks. I love obviously Brock spent a lot of time on the island. He was one of my favorite players. But
I even like him too. He's a great player.
exactly, yeah. But no, I just don't think it's what the tournament calls for. Um,
Yeah. Do you think they should not have Austin Matthews as captain?
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I,
Who would you give the C to?
depending on the roster, I mean, if you're looking for intensity and JT Miller's on the team, there's a case there.
Season's been a little
It's
weird. We'll see.
right, but
I
maybe you
gotta,
give it to a guy like Slavin just based on what he did
yeah.
internationally at Four Nations. Like,
I think you gotta give it to a guy like Dylan Larkin. I I think a
true.
guy like Dylan Larkin is a prime candidate to be a captain of that team. I think he's all like, you want to talk about intensity, like that guy's freaking
Yeah,
intense. But then I could see like a guy like Zach Werenski being it too.
yeah.
Another guy like
Or
that.
if they go the skill route, and Jack Eichel, like,
That's another good decision. I just
yeah,
don't think that, I don't know why Austin Matthews got the C for Four
yeah. No,
Nations.
he's obviously an unreal talent. He
Yes.
scores a million goals a year,
Yeah.
but like, I just don't see him as a leader.
Yeah. Just it's
Like, he's going to lead the team in scoring. I don't think he's going to lead the team in terms of like the mentality.
Yeah, I mean he's even having a rough time scoring this year to begin with. I mean,
Yeah,
It's a lot of decisions, but it's gonna be interesting. I mean, regardless, I'll hope they win the gold because it's just I mean, it's been so long. It's been 12 years since we saw this kind of best on best. So
Yep.
I'm just really excited for that to go. And I just wanted to point out, so Team Germany's like, if you look at their roster, they got like some crazy names you never heard of. But when I was in Germany a year ago in September, uh, I went to the first game that was at the new S&P Center, um, or SAP rink or whatever it was called over there. And it was brand new and the Munich Red Bulls play there. And that's when the Buffalo Sabres went over and played there. At the time they had JJ Peterka, so Munich boy, it was great and everything. But their goalie, the Munich Red Bulls, they had this guy like Matthias Niederberger, and like the game I think was like 4-0 or 5-0 at the end, but this goaltender was really, really good for like half of it. Like before it was just way too much NHL talent. I'm telling you, like if this guy is playing for Germany, like don't be surprised if you see a game where like he makes 35, 40 saves and like they win the game like 2-1 or something. Just like I just wanted to shout that guy out because
Mhm.
he is good, very good. Well,
Is
speaking of
with their
that,
goalies is I gotta look it up now. Oh no, not even gonna say it because I would sound a little dumb. But
which team were you thinking?
no, I was saying is Lucas Dostal, is he German? But I just he's Czech. He's
Oh
not
yeah,
German.
he's check. That's a
Um,
guy who stands on his head. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Oh, we wanted to mention the speaking of rules and stuff like that, the neck guards are now mandated, which I think is fine. I don't really
yeah.
care either way. I mean, if you feel safe or you feel uncomfortable wearing them in the NHL, I mean, if you're grandfathered in, that's up to you. But I think
I mean,
it
I
works
mean
for me.
it is safer. Like,
It is right. Like I was like, it's really
but
just a
yeah,
comfortability thing. I don't care. It was like that. I was like, I think that's like a great thing that they just did that.
yeah,
Um, and then the other thing was that I have read and been told listening to podcasts and stuff like that that the rink in Milan is behind schedule. And I think they have plenty of time to build this thing, right? Uh, but the NHL is sending a team out there this week, and they're looking at the rink, and I think we're gonna know around Friday or Saturday what the status is on that, and here's some words from probably some insiders about what's going on. But just share with me some of your concerns about that.
yeah. So this is something I wasn't even aware of until you mentioned it before we got on here. Um, I feel like it's happened in the past. Maybe not in hockey, but wasn't there something with like a Summer Olympics not too long ago?
Well, I think the
Or
Winter
was it a
Olympics
World Cup? I forget what it was.
was it Winter Olympics in like what was it like Beijing or something? Where or
Is that what it
China,
was?
wherever it was, they had like just a crazy amount of trouble. Like remember there was that image of like
Yeah,
that snowboarding like like and they're surrounded by like an industrial harbor. Like and it's just a mountain of like
yeah. I
snow. It's
feel like
like what?
it's not the first time this has happened. So,
Yeah.
which I guess is weirdly comforting, knowing that like it'll work out, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
But no, it's just I hadn't heard about this until you mentioned it, and I didn't even think to kind of look at the facilities or anything. I was just waiting for rosters to come out. But yeah, no, definitely a concern. If the
Yeah.
NHL's intervening, obviously maybe it's a little more intense and a little bit more of a pressing matter than some people might think. Certainly myself, I didn't even know. But yeah, no, we'll see what happens. Definitely. I mean, you can't play if there's no rink, so I don't know what they're gonna do otherwise. But um,
I think there's a quick train ride to Switzerland. I think there's a
okay.
like a Swiss Hockey League professional rink that's actually not too far. So if like preliminary games need to be played there and then say like,
Yeah, I could do
the
that
medal
and then
round you know. I mean, like I mentioned to you before we started, this rink's not getting a trial run. There's no like,
Yeah, they're just hopping right in.
it's just like Olympics and here we go. And that goes from like fans to broadcasting aspects, like cameras and media access and teams' locker rooms. I mean, there's so much that hasn't been tested and that they probably won't know
Yeah,
until the games start, which is just insane that
yeah,
of all things that this is one. Yikes.
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, but oh boy.
Yeah. Well, I think that it concludes our Olympic talk. Very excited for that. It's been a while for best on best hockey,
Oh yeah.
but the fact that I mentioned a random German goaltender who plays for the Munich Red Bulls, it's time for our random player of the week.
Let's go.
This is just a part of the show where Aiden and I throw out one random hockey player and just kind of talk about him and if we have any fond memories or if he did anything spectacular, just kind of shout him out a little bit. So, Aiden, who is your random NHL player?
So my random player for this episode is a guy that I wouldn't say ever really stood out on any team he played for. He definitely stood out to me because he was one of my favorites growing up. Um, Started with Pittsburgh, ended with Pittsburgh, a little bit in Anaheim, Philly, Minnesota, Vancouver. Um, he's been all over the place, a couple different leagues, but in Switzerland, IHL, AHL, he's been
Oh my
all over the place.
gosh.
But he had 4 seasons with the Islanders um, in the mid 2000s, and it is Richard Park.
Oh, I know that name. Richard Park. Yes. Tell me about Richard Park.
But yeah, so Richard Park, this guy, he's been all over the place. I remember him
Oh
obviously
my
when I
gosh.
have my earliest memories of the Islanders and the NHL in general. He always wore number 10. Um, I used to wear number 10, so maybe that's a reason why. But I mean, I don't think so. But no, he was a guy that he even played the playoffs with them against Buffalo, I believe, in '06. But he's never really was the point producer. I think he capped out around like 30 points a season in the NHL. Um, but he was always a depth guy. He was kind of that, I guess, comparing him to a guy on the roster right now for the Islanders. He was maybe like a less, slightly less productive Pajot, if I had to compare him to someone.
Yeah.
Special teams guy, penalty killer, just that depth role. And I loved watching him play. He was a guy that played with a lot of energy, like a Cizikas, like a Pajot, like I said. Um, and some of my earliest hockey memories are going to the Coliseum and Richard Park's on the ice.
Richard Park. I love it. Richard freaking Park. Yeah, I'm just looking at his his elite prospects right now. I mean, this guy absolutely was a suitcase from, oh, geez, he played everywhere. Wow. I mean, sometimes it wasn't even like sometimes it wasn't even like one season. It was or more than one season. It was just in the same one. So that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I do know that name. I can't say he was on when he was on the Isles. I remember him too much. Okay. So my random player is probably a guy that I low-key wish he played a little later than his time. Because if he played in the NHL like it is now, he would easily be putting up some sick numbers. And I kind of compare him a little bit to Trevor Zegras in how he plays. He rivals Datsuk and some of the best players of all time for his highlight reels. And this player is Mike Ribeiro. Um, Mike Ribeiro has had some of the
That's
silkiest
a
mitts,
great pick.
some of the silkiest mitts in hockey history. And if you look at his shootout highlights and his just in general, his highlight packages, he has scored some ridiculous goals and has some ridiculous assists. I mean, and look, he was a second round pick in '98. and he broke in around the time of the lockout, 0405. Played, just kind of cups of coffee with Montreal. And then once that new age NHL came out in the late 2000s, when it was a little bit more open, the game, he took off a bit. Like he had some 50 plus point seasons, much more of a passer than a scorer. But I think if he played in today's NHL, he'd put up like easy 70 points a season. So like I just remember watching some ridiculous shootout moves from him growing up, and I just love it.
Like Ovi, every time he scored, it was like his first goal. He'd just go nuts. But
Yeah.
he's yeah, I definitely have some early memories of him, mostly with Dallas. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I'm looking at his stats right here. That's kind of where he had his best years.
Yeah.
A couple of seasons with 20 goals, 50 assists. Like that's that. I mean,
Checks out.
he's honestly a guy I miss watching.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in the shootouts. It's crazy, man. I mean, this guy, just always remember him for being just a great set of hands, and I never was known for having a set of hands myself. So, I think that'll do for our second episode, Aiden. We discussed a lot. I felt like our teams were more the same over the last 2 weeks with some positives, some negatives, and some interesting moments. But I liked our discussion this week, and we'll see what next week brings, given the incoming Thanksgiving holiday, where we'll really see which teams are fake or not.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure picking up right where we left off, and yeah, let's see what happens down the stretch.
Hell yeah. Alrighty, everyone. Thanks for joining us for episode 2 of the AM Shift. We'll be back next week with episode 3. But till now, we'll talk to you soon.